Most people have no idea what productivity really is. They think it's about motion, about noise, about stacking their calendars so full that they can barely breathe. They treat exhaustion like a badge of honor, as if broken sleep and 18-hour workdays are proof of greatness. They worship their planners, download their apps, cling to their endless lists like drowning men holding onto driftwood. And still, they sink. They mistake being busy for being powerful. They mistake chaos for control. What they're really building is not success. It's a cage, a prison of their own making. But here's the truth most will never face. Productivity is not about doing more. Productivity is about doing less. Ruthlessly less. Productivity is war. And war is not won by scattering your forces across every meaningless battle. It's won by focusing your power, crushing what matters most, and burning the rest to ash. Every useless task you cling to, every meeting that doesn't drive your mission forward, every yes you give to the wrong people, it's all theft. Theft of your time, theft of your energy, theft of the life you could have lived. If it doesn't bring you closer to your vision, then it's not neutral, it's poison. Understand this. If it doesn't build you, it breaks you. There is no in-between. The dangerous ones, the rare few who break through, they know this. They're not the ones grinding 18 hours a day, hoping someone notices their sacrifice. They are the ones with the discipline to cut away everything that doesn't matter. They can say no when everyone else bends. They guard their time like it's worth blood, because it is. You want to be unstoppable? Start here. Choose one goal, not 10, not 5. One. The one that, if achieved, makes all the others fall into place. That goal becomes your war. Everything else? Dead weight. Remove it. Burn it down. Your life should look like a blade, sharp, direct, pointed. Anything that doesn't sharpen the blade dulls it. And once the clutter is gone, the next enemy is distraction. The world will fight for your attention like vultures circling a carcass. Notifications, cheap entertainment, shallow friendships, obligations that mean nothing to your soul. If you want to rise, you must become untouchable. You must make your time sacred. Do not disturb is not an option. It is a code. Deep work is not a suggestion. It is your battlefield. Carve out the hours where your mind is sharpest and guard them as if your life depends on it. Because it does. But still, there's more. You cannot scale by carrying every load yourself. If you try, you'll break. You must multiply yourself. Systems, automation, delegation. This is leverage. And leverage is how you stop being a pawn and become a king. Stop believing the lie that no one else can do it as well as you. Record your process. Systemize it. Hand it off. Machines can repeat it. People can execute it. Buy back your time, then reinvest it into the work only you can do. The needle-moving work that changes everything. And then comes the final test. Winning tomorrow today. Most people lose the war for their day before the sun even rises. They roll into their mornings blind, unprepared, reactive. That is weakness. That is surrender. A warrior does not wake up hoping to win. A warrior lays out the battlefield the night before. Set your priorities. Prepare your environment. Eliminate distractions. If you want victory, the fight begins long before the first strike. The first hour of your day is the command center. Win that hour, and you own the day. Lose it, and you've already fallen. This is not about hacks. This is not about pretty journals and empty affirmations. This is about survival in a world designed to drown you. Most people will remain slaves to the noise. buried under tasks that never mattered, living lives of exhaustion without impact. But you can be different. You can cut deeper. You can guard your time like a weapon. You can build systems that multiply you. You can rise while everyone else burns themselves to ash. Productivity is not more, it is less. Less noise, less waste, less weakness, until what remains is pure power. And when you master this, you won't just be productive, you'll be unstoppable. You've just heard the hard truth. Productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, ruthlessly less. But knowing the truth isn't enough. Knowledge without execution is just another form of paralysis. If you stop here, all you have is another idea buried under the pile of things you'll get to one day. So let's not leave it there. Let's sharpen this truth into a weapon you can actually use. I'm going to give you a system, 7 steps, each one designed to cut through the noise, reclaim your time, and turn you into someone who produces results while the rest of the world burns themselves out chasing shadows. This isn't theory. This is the battlefield map. Follow these steps with discipline, and you won't just work differently. You'll live differently. Now, let's get into the first step. Step 1. Choose one war. Kill the rest. Most people are scattered to death. They carry notebooks full of goals, apps filled with to-do lists, and endless dreams scribbled on scraps of paper. But the very weight of all these ambitions is what crushes them. They want 10 victories at once, so they get none. They chase every shiny object, spread themselves thin across meaningless tasks, and wonder why their progress feels like drowning in wet cement. This is the harsh truth. If you're fighting on every battlefield, you're winning none. You're bleeding yourself dry. Productivity is not about juggling 10 wars. It's about waging one war and obliterating everything in your path until that war is won. Here's what I mean. Grab a sheet of paper. Write down every goal you have. Personal, professional, financial, spiritual. Don't censor yourself. Dump it all out. It will feel heavy, and it should. That list is the weight you've been dragging like a corpse tied to your ankle. Now, circle the one goal that matters most. The one that, if you achieved it, would make everything else either easier or irrelevant. Maybe it's building a business. Maybe it's mastering a skill. Maybe it's building wealth that changes your bloodline forever. Whatever it is, that's your war. That's your battlefield. That's the single campaign that deserves your focus. And here's the part where most people fail. They refuse to kill the rest. They cling to every goal because it feels good to imagine they can have it all right now. But that illusion is poison. Until you commit to one, you are committed to nothing. Think like a general. A general doesn't divide his army into 10 directions. He chooses one front, unleashes every soldier, every resource, every weapon onto it until it falls. Then, and only then, does he move to the next. That is how wars are won, and that's how lives are transformed. Ask yourself, what would happen if, for the next 12 months, you gave everything to one goal? Not partial effort, not, I'll work on it when I have time. I mean absolute focus, total war. What would your life look like 1 year from today if you attacked one mission with all your firepower? Would you still be broke? Would you still be stuck in mediocrity? Or would you be unrecognizable, richer, stronger, sharper, unstoppable? The choice is yours, but make no mistake, this will cost you. Choosing one war means sacrificing the rest. It means saying no more often than you ever have. It means disappointing people who want your energy for their own battles. It means killing goals that feel good, but don't move the needle. This is not about comfort. This is about survival. And survival demands brutality. So here's your order of execution. Pick the war. Decide the one goal that matters more than all others. No excuses, no hesitation. Write it down. Place it where you'll see it every day. Your wall, your phone, your desk. Burn the rest. Literally destroy the list of other goals. Shred it. Burn it. Tear it apart so there is no going back. Channel everything. Every hour, every decision, every resource is judged by one question. Does this serve the war? If yes, advance. If no, eliminate. At first, this will feel like loss. Your ego will resist. It will whisper that you can do it all. But your ego is lying. Once you kill the excess and channel your energy into one front, you'll feel something you haven't felt in years. Momentum. For the first time, the needle will move. And that's when you'll understand. This is not sacrifice. This is liberation. By choosing one war and killing the rest, you stop living like the 99%, scattered, exhausted, and empty. You step into the 1% who know that true productivity is about precision, not volume. The weak are slaves to many battles. The strong master one war at a time. So choose your war, kill the rest, and prepare to win. Step 2. Audit your time like a tyrant. You say you want greatness, but your calendar exposes you. You claim you're chasing freedom, wealth, or mastery. But one glance at how you spend your hours tells a darker truth. You're bleeding out your life in trivialities. Here's the brutal reality. Time is the only currency that matters, and you've been spending it like a fool. Money, you can lose and make again. Opportunities, they come and go. But time? Once it's gone, it's carved into your gravestone. You don't get it back. And every wasted hour is an hour stolen from the empire you could have built. Most people are prisoners of their own schedules, and they don't even know it. They wake up reactive, answering messages, scrolling, running to appointments, nodding yes to obligations that do nothing but drain them. They're puppets, pulled by invisible strings. And worst of all, they call this being productive. No, this is slavery. The dangerous man, the one who rises above, isn't the one who fills his schedule with more. He's the one who audits his time like a tyrant, ruthlessly, without mercy. He looks at every block of his calendar with one brutal question. Does this move me closer to my war, or does it pull me away? That's it. No gray areas, no excuses, no half-truths. Pull up your calendar. Lay out your week like a battlefield map. Every hour is a soldier. Every task is a battle. Circle the ones that move you toward your war in green. These are the weapons that sharpen your blade. Training, deep work, high-leverage moves, building systems, creating wealth. Then, mark in red the ones that drain you, distract you, or chain you to mediocrity. The nights wasted on mindless entertainment. The lunches with people who talk but never build. The urgent busy work that keeps you spinning but never advancing. The conversations that do nothing but poison your ambition. Look at the map. Be honest. If you are like 99% of people, your calendar will bleed red. You've been marching your soldiers into ambush after ambush, wasting your army on meaningless skirmishes, while your true war sits untouched. And this is where the tyrant in you must awaken. You must cut the red mercilessly. No hesitation, no pity. If it doesn't serve the war, it dies. That weekly meeting that could have been an email, kill it. That friend who pulls you into gossip and wasted nights, cut them off. That hobby that feels good but doesn't bring you closer to your mission, eliminate it or cage it until victory is yours. This is not easy. It will feel brutal because it is. You've built an identity around busyness. You've convinced yourself that being overbooked means you're important. But busy is not the same as effective. Busy is just camouflage for wasted time. And when you audit honestly, you'll see how much of your life has been stolen under that disguise. But here's the power of the tyrant's audit. Once you strip away the red, your life transforms. Suddenly the chaos quiets. The noise fades. Your calendar becomes sharp, intentional, a blade cutting forward. Green becomes your compass. Every block of time now points directly at your war. And for the first time, you'll feel what real progress is supposed to feel like. Momentum. Understand this. You are not managing time. You are commanding it. Time is not a river carrying you downstream. Time is an army waiting for orders. And a weak commander squanders his forces. A tyrant commander directs every soldier toward victory. So do it. Audit your week. Mark the green. Mark the red. And then burn the red without hesitation. Because if it doesn't build you, it breaks you. If it doesn't serve your mission, it's sabotage. The world will not respect your time until you do. And once you do, once you wield time like a tyrant, you'll notice something terrifying. Most people aren't living at all. They're just scheduling themselves to death. But not you. Not anymore. Audit your time. Command your army. And march every hour into battle for your war. Step 3. Guard your time like gold. You've chosen your war. You've cut away the poison. But the war isn't won yet. Because now comes the greatest enemy of all. The thieves. The thieves are relentless. They wear many masks, notifications, emails, social media. Quick calls. Can I just pick your brain? Invitations to distractions dressed as opportunities. People who sense you're on fire and try to drag you into their darkness because your light threatens them. The truth is harsh. Once you begin to rise, the world will pull harder to keep you grounded. And if you are not ruthless, you will lose. You see, most people treat their time like it's worthless. They give it away freely. They answer every ping. They attend every pointless meeting. They scroll away hours they'll never get back. They live like time is infinite, when in reality it is bleeding out of them second by second. But not you. Not anymore. Because if you want to become unstoppable, you must guard your time like gold. No, guard it like it's worth more than gold. Because it is. You can lose gold and dig it back up. You can lose money and earn it again. But when time is gone, it's buried forever. And every thief who steals your time is stealing pieces of your life you'll never reclaim. So how do you fight back? You build a fortress. Step 1. Block your time. Treat your calendar like sacred ground. Your deep work hours, those windows where you build, create, and move the needle, must be walled off like holy temples. You wouldn't skip a meeting with your boss or a client, would you? Then why do you skip meetings with yourself? Stop betraying yourself. If your calendar says focus, then focus. That time is untouchable. Step 2. Silence the noise. Live in the world of D&D. Do not disturb. Put your phone on lockdown. Turn off the notifications. Train people to know that you're not available on their schedule. You are available on your terms, if at all. Every distraction you let through the gates is an intruder with a knife. Step 3. Value your time at $1,000 an hour or more. Imagine every interruption is costing you that much. Would you let someone steal $1,000 from your pocket just because they needed you for 5 minutes? No. Then why do you let them steal your hours? Time has a price, and the successful assign it ruthlessly. And here's the final truth. You must learn the art of saying no. The most powerful people in the world are not defined by what they accept. They're defined by what they reject. Every yes is a contract. Every yes bleeds your time, your energy, your focus. So before you agree to anything, ask, does this serve my war? If not, the answer is no. No hesitation, no apology, no explanation needed. But be warned, when you begin to guard your time, people will push back. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you've changed. They'll accuse you of being too focused or too unavailable. Good. That's proof you're doing it right. Weak people want you accessible because it keeps you on their level. Strong people respect boundaries because they live by them too. This is where most fall. They clean their calendars, cut the red, build momentum, and then let the thieves back in. They say yes to things they shouldn't. They break their own boundaries. They forget that time, once stolen, is gone forever. But if you remain ruthless, if you guard your time like a tyrant guards his throne, you will notice something miraculous. Clarity, power, progress. Suddenly your days stop being chaotic storms and start becoming precise strikes. No wasted movement, no energy lost. Every hour guarded, every action intentional. Guard your time like gold. No, guard it like your life depends on it. Because it does. The weak will bleed out their hours into the mouths of thieves. The strong will protect their time with walls, with fire, with steel. And the strong will win. Step 4. Build systems to multiply yourself. Here's the raw truth. If you try to build greatness with your own 2 hands alone, you will break. You will run out of hours. You will run out of energy. And while you're busy carrying buckets of water, someone else will be building pipelines that flood entire cities. This is where most ambitious people die. They know how to cut distractions. They know how to guard their time. But they still think they have to do it all themselves. That's slavery disguised as pride. That's ego in chains. You must learn the art of multiplication. Because no matter how disciplined, no matter how fierce, you are still human. Your time is finite. But systems make you infinite. Think about this. For every repetitive task you hold on to, you are chaining yourself to the ground. Meal prep, laundry, bookkeeping, scheduling, sending the same email over and over. It doesn't matter how small the task seems. Every minute spent on it is a minute you could have used to strike at your war. And don't lie to yourself with the weakest excuse in existence. Nobody can do it as well as me. That's the death rattle of small thinkers. Systems exist to crush that excuse. Machines don't get tired. Tools don't complain. People can be trained, processes can be duplicated, and AI can automate with frightening speed. If you can teach it once, you can free yourself forever. Here's how you start. Step 1. Record yourself. Every repetitive task you do, whether it's how you send emails, how you file paperwork, how you post content, record it. Screen record it. Voice record it. Write it down. This becomes the blueprint. Step 2. Systemize it. Take that blueprint and turn it into steps. If you can describe it once, you can train someone or something else to do it. AI tools can even break the recording into a checklist for you. What once lived in your head is now a process that outlives you. Step 3. Delegate or automate. Find tools that replace human labor. Find people who can execute what you no longer should. At first, maybe you can't afford a team. Fine. Use automation, outsource cheaply, pay for leverage where you can. Buy back 1 hour at a time. And when you grow, buy back entire days, then entire weeks. Eventually, your time is reserved only for the high-leverage moves, the moves only you can make. This is how empires are built. Because here's the secret. You are not supposed to be a worker forever. You're supposed to be a builder of systems. The powerful do not grind themselves into dust. They design machines that grind for them. The weak wear themselves out chasing tasks. The strong multiply themselves, so their impact stretches far beyond their own 2 hands. Think of the tyrant king. He doesn't fight every battle himself. He commands armies. He builds structures that last beyond his lifetime. He multiplies his will through men, through machines, through systems. That is why he wins wars. Others can't even begin. You must think the same. Ask yourself, what am I doing repeatedly that doesn't require my unique skill? That's your first chain to break. Start small. Free yourself from one task. Then another. Then another. Soon, the chains begin to fall. And with every task you systemize, with every hour you reclaim, you begin to feel something powerful. Expansion. Your focus sharpens. Your impact multiplies. And suddenly, while everyone else is burning out under the weight of their own workload, you're building faster, growing farther, striking harder, all while doing less. But here's the warning. This requires humility. You must kill your ego. You must stop thinking you are the only one who can do everything. Pride is the poison that keeps most men trapped as workers forever. Pride whispers, you don't need systems. You don't need help. You're strong enough to carry it all. That's a lie. That's how you stay small. The truth? True strength is building something that no longer needs you. True strength is creating a system that functions while you sleep. True strength is multiplying yourself so powerfully that your reach extends far beyond what your body and mind could ever produce alone. If you want freedom, if you want scale, if you want to become unstoppable, you cannot just do. You must build. You must multiply. You must transform yourself from worker to architect. Because only then will you stop being just another man burning hours and become a force that bends time itself. Build the system. Multiply yourself. Or stay small forever. The choice is yours. Step 5. Replace consumption with creation. Here is the disease of our age. Consumption. Endless, mindless consumption. Scroll after scroll, video after video, hour after hour siphoned into a black hole that produces nothing but emptiness. Entire lives are swallowed in entertainment, gossip, distraction, and the shallow dopamine hits of endless screens. Most people are addicts. They wake up, grab their phones, and inject themselves with noise before their feet even touch the ground. They binge on podcasts, binge on news, binge on other people's lives, other people's thoughts, other people's creations. They are vampires who don't even realize they've been drained dry because they've trained their brains to confuse consumption with progress. But consumption is slavery. Creation is power. Understand this. Everything you admire, everything you use, everything you depend on, it was built by creators, not consumers. The businesses that shape the world, the art that lasts centuries, The inventions that changed history, none of them came from endless consumption. They came from those who chose to create while the masses drowned in distraction. If you want to rise above the 99%, you must break the addiction. You must starve consumption and feed creation. Here's how you begin. Audit your day. Count the hours you spend consuming versus creating. Be honest. That research that turns into 3 hours of scrolling, consumption. That Netflix series you earned after work, consumption. The gossip at lunch that burns an hour of your life, consumption. Now compare it to the hours you actually create. Writing, building, training, producing, executing. For most people, the ratio is terrifying. 90% consumption, 10% creation. And they wonder why their lives never change. The dangerous few flip the ratio. They create more than they consume. They pour their energy into output, not input. They write instead of just reading. They build instead of just watching. They record, design, execute, and leave something behind instead of just devouring what others made. And because they create, they shape reality itself. This is the law. If you are not creating, you are consuming. And if you are consuming more than you create, you are being controlled. Someone else is writing your story while you sit in the audience clapping for theirs. Creation requires discipline. It requires you to confront resistance. It requires you to fight through the moments where it feels easier to sit back and consume. But every time you choose creation over consumption, you carve power into your identity. You declare, I am not here to be entertained. I am here to build. So, how do you shift? Replace. Instead of scrolling, write. Instead of watching, produce. Instead of gossiping, plan. Instead of absorbing other people's noise, create something that amplifies your signal. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be ready. You just have to create. Write the first draft. Film the first video. Launch the first product. Record the process. Build the system. Take the step. Creation is messy at first, but every piece of output you produce sharpens your blade. Every act of creation stacks power, builds momentum, creates leverage. And soon, your ratio changes. You go from consumer to producer, from audience member to architect, from passive participant to dangerous creator who bends the world around your vision. And here's the dark truth. Most people will resent you for it, because your creation is a mirror to their consumption. Your discipline reminds them of their weakness. They will mock you, dismiss you, try to pull you back into their cycle of wasting time. Do not fall. Their noise is nothing but the desperate cries of slaves protecting their chains. The future belongs to creators. Consumers are forgotten. Consumers vanish. Their hours are burned away in silence. But creators, they leave scars on the world. Their output lasts. Their work multiplies. Their discipline builds empires. So ask yourself, when you die, will the world remember what you consumed or what you created? Replace consumption with creation. Stop feeding the void and start building your kingdom. Because only creators shape destiny. Consumers are buried with nothing to show for their lives but the ashes of wasted time. And if you dare to create relentlessly, you won't just escape the addiction, you will become unstoppable. Step 6. Win tomorrow tonight. Most people lose the battle for their day before the sun even rises. They don't realize it, but by the time their alarm clock goes off, the war has already been decided. They stumble out of bed reactive, unfocused, and chained to chaos. Their mornings are full of noise, distraction, and scrambling. And then they wonder why their lives feel out of control. The truth is simple, but brutal. You don't win the day in the morning. You win it the night before. You see, the undisciplined believe tomorrow will somehow be different. They tell themselves, tomorrow I'll wake up early. Tomorrow I'll eat clean. Tomorrow I'll focus. But tomorrow is already dead if tonight they fail to prepare. Discipline isn't what you do when the sun comes up. Discipline is what you do when the world is asleep. A warrior doesn't walk blindly into battle and hope for victory. He studies the terrain. He sharpens his blade. He lays out his armor. He prepares his mind. That's why he wins. You must treat your life the same way. Tomorrow is your battlefield, and tonight, you build your arsenal. Here's the Ruthless system. Step 1. Set a shutdown alarm. Not a wake-up alarm. A shutdown alarm. Pick a time every night when you power down. This is where the weak fail. They stay up scrolling, numbing themselves with entertainment, trading sleep for scraps of dopamine. The strong know, nothing good happens late at night. The weak waste it, the strong guard it. Sleep is not weakness, it is fuel. Step 2. Prepare your environment. Your willpower will fail if your environment is against you. Lay out your clothes for the gym. Prepare your breakfast. Clean your workspace. Remove every possible obstacle that could slow you down in the morning. Do not leave tomorrow up to chance. If your environment is not built for war, you've already surrendered. Step 3. Choose your 3 strikes. Write down the top 3 priorities for tomorrow. Not 20, not 10. 3. These are the needle movers, the war-winning moves. When you wake up, there is no decision fatigue, no wasted thought. You already know your mission. And when you hit those 3, you win the day, no matter what else happens. Step 4. Sleep like a weapon. Weak men brag about how little they sleep. They confuse burnout for glory. But the disciplined know a sharpened mind cuts deeper than a tired one. Go to bed early. Protect your rest. Because when dawn comes, you don't need to crawl into your day. You need to attack it. And then comes the morning ritual. Eat the frog. Mark Twain once said, "If you have to eat a frog, do it first thing in the morning. If you have to eat 2 frogs, eat the biggest one first." Translation: attack the hardest, most important task immediately. Don't dodge it. Don't delay it. Destroy it. Because when you conquer the hardest thing first, everything else feels light. Finally, guard your first 90 minutes like your life depends on it. No messages, no emails, no calls, no social media. These first 90 minutes are the golden window when your mind is sharpest, your energy is highest, and your focus is unbroken. Direct it at the #1 bottleneck in your life. The thing that, if solved, makes everything else easier. This is your strike zone. Do this consistently, and you will bend time to your will. The weak drift into their mornings blind. The strong win their mornings before they even arrive. Remember this: when you fail to prepare tonight, you've already chosen to lose tomorrow. But when you end your day with intention, when you sharpen your environment, set your priorities, and guard your rest, you become untouchable. This is not about routine. This is about war. You cannot control what chaos tomorrow brings, but you can control whether you walk into it armed or unarmed. Win tomorrow tonight. Build your arsenal before the sun rises. And when the world wakes up unfocused and reactive, you will already be 3 steps ahead, striking with precision while they scramble to catch up. That is how warriors live. That is how empires are built. Step 7. Repeat until it becomes law. Discipline is not a one-time purge. It is not one clean week, one good month, or one season of focus. Discipline is repetition. Ruthless, relentless repetition, until the actions that once felt like effort now pulse through you like instinct. Most people treat productivity like a sprint. They push hard for a few days, maybe a few weeks, and then collapse. They get hyped. They reorganize their lives. They feel momentum. And then they drift back to the same chaos that kept them small. They are slaves to their moods, slaves to convenience, slaves to comfort. But the dangerous few, the ones who rise, they don't treat productivity like a temporary experiment. They engrave it into their bones until it becomes law. You must understand this. The human brain is clay. Every thought, every action, every habit, repeated long enough, etches grooves into your mind. That's why people get stuck in cycles. The lazy repeat laziness until it becomes who they are. The distracted repeat distraction until they cannot focus. The weak repeat excuses until weakness becomes their identity. But this sword cuts both ways. If you repeat discipline, discipline becomes you. If you repeat focus, focus becomes your nature. If you repeat productivity, productivity becomes your identity. Not something you do, but something you are. That's why this step is the deadliest of them all. Because it's not about knowing the system, it's about becoming the system. So how do you make it law? You cycle it. You engrave it. You build a rhythm that makes relapse impossible. Every week, review your calendar. Audit your time. Check the green. Cut the red. Sharpen the blade. Every month, measure your progress. Did your actions bring you closer to your war? Where did you drift? What needs to be cut again? Correction is survival. Every year, reset your campaign. Wars evolve. Seasons change. The battlefield shifts. Choose your new war and burn the rest. Discipline is not an event. It's a lifestyle. It's not about one victory. It's about becoming undefeatable. And the only way to achieve that is through relentless repetition until the habits bury themselves so deep in your soul that you cannot live any other way. At first, it will feel forced. You will resist. Your old self will whisper, "Just skip tonight. Just take it easy tomorrow. Just give yourself a break." That voice is the ghost of the man you are killing off. And every time you silence it, you bury him deeper. Every time you repeat the discipline, you strengthen the new law. Soon, something terrifying will happen. You will stop thinking about it. You'll just do it. Preparation becomes instinct. Focus becomes your natural state. Systems build themselves. The repetition rewires your brain, and what was once struggle becomes identity. That's when you've crossed over. That's when the old self is dead. Most will never get here. They'll dabble, they'll experiment, they'll taste progress, and then quit. They'll go back to being slaves of chaos. But if you stay ruthless, if you repeat this system until it etches itself into your bones, you will ascend into the rarest air, mastery. Because the truth is this: success is not built on intensity. It is built on consistency. The fire that burns hottest for one night dies by morning, but the fire that burns steady every day becomes a forge that shapes a weapon no one can stop. Repeat until it becomes law. Repeat until you no longer think about it. Repeat until your discipline is not a choice, but your identity. That is how you become untouchable. That is how you become a weapon. That is how you win, not once, not for a season, but forever. You've been handed the system. 7 steps, not hacks, not tricks, not feel-good theories. 7 weapons designed to cut through the noise, reclaim your time, and transform you into something rare, something dangerous, something unstoppable. First, you chose one war and killed the rest, because the man who fights on every battlefield dies on all of them. Then you audited your time like a tyrant, cutting the poison and commanding your hours like soldiers in an army. You learned to guard your time like gold, to protect it from thieves who steal your life one interruption at a time. And you built systems to multiply yourself, because carrying every weight alone is slavery, while systems make you infinite. You cut consumption and replaced it with creation, refusing to live as a spectator in someone else's story. You began winning tomorrow tonight, preparing your battlefield so every day starts with precision instead of chaos. And finally, you repeated it all until it became law, engraving discipline so deep into your identity that it became who you are, not what you do. This is the path. Brutal, yes. Ruthless, yes. But necessary. Because the world is designed to keep you scattered, weak, and distracted. They want you busy, not productive. They want you tired, not powerful. They want you consuming, not creating. But you know better now. You've seen the blueprint, and you have a choice. Drift back into mediocrity, like the rest, or embrace the darkness of discipline and rise into the 1% who build empires, while others burn themselves out chasing nothing. Understand this. Productivity is not about doing more. It is about doing less. Doing less until only the essential remains. Doing less until every move is a strike. Every hour is a weapon. Every day is a step toward victory. If you follow this system, your life will stop feeling like chaos and start feeling like war strategy. No wasted motion, no hesitation, no compromise. Just precision, momentum, and victory. But if you ignore it, if you keep chasing busy instead of power, then nothing changes. You'll stay where you've always been, tired, scattered, and shackled to tasks that never mattered. So choose. Now, because time is bleeding whether you act or not. Become ruthless. Become focused. Become untouchable. This is not just productivity. This is transformation. This is how you stop being a slave to time and become its master.